Taeyang entered the key in the lock before twisting it to open the door, trying his best to keep his actions silent. Then he breathed in relief when the house door got unlocked without making any noise. He took off his shoe and carried it in his hand before carefully stepping into the house, which was covered in darkness that makes him assume that you and Sarah are asleep. But then his assumption got wrong when the living room got lightened up. Taeyang spotted you sitting on the couch, wide awake, looking at him with your cold gaze. "Aren't you too early?" you asked him, but he just lowered his eyes, not having courage to meet up with your eyes. "I'm sorry," mumbled and heard a heavy sigh left from your side before you stood up from your seat and walked into the kitchen. "Save it for another day, you must need it," you reminded him as he walked to your kitchen to see you taking out his dinner to heat up, but then he interrupted. "I'm full, Ryan." You paused at your action and let out a scoff before placing the food back on the place. "Oh yes, I forgot your best friend. Of course, she made a delicious dish, of which you brags about all day." You replied in a mocking tone and washed your hands. "Ryan, I didn't mean to." He tried to hold your hand softly, but you yanked it away from him. "Every time you said the same thing when you neglect me and Sarah, that you didn't mean it and then play say sorry. I can manage with it, but what about Sarah? She need you, she need his appa, but you were never there for her." You expressed the feelings which you were hiding in your chest. You were sick of his behavior, of how much times he neglected you and your daughter for his girl best friend and her son. "What can I do? Elsa has no one expect me. She and no one needs me," he hinted, pointing out his reason, and you shut your eyes closed again. The same thing, the same reason, the same excuse. "So, as we also have you. We also need you in our life." You corrected him, reminding him that there's also two other people who need him beside his best friend, Elsa, and her child Noah. Elsa is the single mother. Her boyfriend left her after finding out she is pregnant with his child. He didn't want to take a responsibility of the child at the young age and wanted to focus on his goals, so he left her without any help. At her toughest time, you and Taeyang helped her with everything, but as the time started to pass, Taeyang's attention divided into two parts. He started to handle both you and her. But in your point of view, he's prioritizing her more and neglecting you and Sarah mostly. He forgot that he also has a family, a wife, a daughter, who's waiting for his arrival, while all he cares about is his best friend. Why? Because she's a single mother? Sarah was waiting for you. She wanted to have dinner with his appa, but you were having fun with Elsa's son, Noah. In the end, her appa never came. Taeyang's eyes twinkled with guilt. "I care about Sarah and you. Ryan, I love you both." "Really? I can't say it. I just can hear some words from you." Taeyang wanted to speak out something, but snapped his mouth shut up, and no words left from. With that filling silence, you turned your feet and went to your room, not having more energy to argue further with him. He woke up from the bed and looked beside to see emptiness and cold. It's not new to you see that these days he left early for work and came late, so you are no longer surprised with this. Tying your hair into your messy bun, you make your way to the washroom to freshen up before climbing downstairs to prepare breakfast. But the sight in front of you makes you shake. When your eyes fell on the Taeyang's figure, who seemed to be preparing breakfast with Sarah beside him, all prepared in her uniform to go to school.
"Amma, look, Appa made your breakfast,"
she called out to you after noticing you at the midway of the stairs. Taeyang also turned around after Sarah mentioned you and tried to pass you a smile, but you averted your gaze away from him, which made Taeyang's smile fade away by your action. You take your seat at the dining table beside Sarah. Taeyang and Sarah were talking happily to each other, but you kept silent and answered only to Sarah, not wanting to face Taeyang. But seeing Sarah's happy face while talking to her appa makes you feel better. Please, Taeyang, she is trusting you this time. Please don't break this. You said to Taeyang.
Appa, please don't forget. Today is my ballet performance.
She informed her father once again not want dad to forget it because she also want his appa to be present on the performance like her other friends' fathers too. Appa will not, I promise. Taeyang wished her and told her he will not lost it this time. Sarah happily smiled before climbing inside her school bus. As Sarah's school bus moved away from the stop and Taeyang was about to go to his office, his phone rang. He checked the caller ID to see it's Elsa. Sarah kept waiting for Taeyang's arrival, but there's no sight of him. She looked around to see most of her classmates' fathers had arrived. Her hope was getting faded of his father coming as the time was passing by, but still she waited for him, trusting that he will not break her promise.